G'day, Steel Nation. How you going? It's Mark here, Mark Davidson from Steel Nation Australia. What's going on, West Country? What's that? Let's go, baby! Yes, yes! Let's go!
What's the deal with the schedule?
I think the stereotype that we drink Fosters, and the first Foster I saw was in Pittsburgh. It's a true story.
Yeah,
The
I've
first
only
ever
seen-
Foster I saw was in America. I've never
Well, I
seen one
thought that
here.
was like Australia for beers.
For what?
Alrighty, Steelers Nation, welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. What, 12 people? That's crazy, man. We are fired up. We're ready to go. Before we get into today's show, I'm going to try and go over the draft and stuff like that. But I want to give one big shout out to Bubba and Shane and all the people who went on Bubba's podcast, the Steelers Dynasty podcast. We did it last year, me and Maddie, and the year before too, like going live for 17 hours draft coverage. And most of you guys know I'm not a draft guy. I try my best to these fellas, but I have no freaking clue who these people are. Thank you, you fucking legend. All right, before we start, let's get some fireworks for Yuli. I'm really pumped up. I'm thinking now, like this is where we start to team build and think about how these players fit. I was watching the Ohio State game today. With Will Howard and Jack Sawyer. I was watching the first 10 minutes of that and thinking, okay, how do these players fit into the Steelers, team and organization? Where are they going to go, right? Mike Tomlin kept talking about Steelers DNA. So where do they fit? So like I said, I'm not a draft guy, but I'm surrounded by good people. There's Matty Peverill. Shout out to Matty Peverill as well, because he's coming back on YouTube. He's doing some really good things. And I'm going to link his videos soon talking about undrafted free agents. But yeah, one big shout out to Bubba and that, because I did the draft content last year, 17 hours. It's not easy. It's not super tough. Isn't like, manual labor, fixing a house or concreter or, being a plumber or whatever it may be, or crushing rocks with your hands. I don't know. It's nothing like that, but it's really tough to sit in there for a long time. So shout out to Bubba, because he did all 3 days. He did day 1, day 2, and a long ass day 3. And it takes it out of you. Definitely takes it out of you. You need to be entertaining and constant and have a good go. All right, here's Yuli's fireworks. Alrighty, we're back. Steeler Chick 46 says, stayed on all day with Bubba and Shane. And yeah, it's meant to be fun. Like, that's why I always try and, if this podcast were to go 24 hours, but I have to go to work in 4 hours, I've always stressed that if you're here for 2 minutes, 5 seconds, or 1 minute, or if you were back here in 2020 and then you have a 4-year break, I'll still be here. Like, I'll still do the Steelers content. If I'm live for 5.5 hours and you're here for 5 minutes, fantastic. Come in and say hello. It's like an open bar conversation. So shout out to Bubba and that for doing the 3 days, because I couldn't do it. I was working and I didn't want to wake up at 2 a.m. to be super fucking tired and then go to work and not do my job correctly. I take a lot of passion in this job, and I take a lot of or in this role here on YouTube. I take a lot of passion also with my job that I work with pickleball, right? Another thing I want to bring up before we get into draft content, right? I did see another video from Zaya and the Steelers, and I really want to get your guys' opinion on this, because he talked about, there's this thing going around Twitter right now, and I don't know if you've seen this. It's from a movie or something, or from like a TV show called The Sinners or something like that. It's who would win in a fight, in a fist fight, no weapons, 100 people, right? 100 humans can be man or lady, man or woman, right? Versus one gorilla. Now, I thought about this for a quick 3.5 seconds. And let me know in the chat what you guys think. But I thought about this for a 3.5 seconds. And I hands down think that that gorilla would absolutely tear the living shit up out of those 100 people. I see in the comments, like on Twitter, it's going around town that people are debating 100 men or 100 humans versus one gorilla. But I think that the reason why the gorilla, the silverback, would win, not only because he's super physical and he's like so strong and he's like the king of the jungle, right? I feel like 100 humans together who maybe just met could not make a plan up fast enough to outsmart the beast, right? And they'd probably send 3 or 4 or 5 blokes at a time, 10 blokes at a time. Next minute, that gorilla absolutely rips him to shreds. Like, you try and go one-on-one with the king of the jungle, you're fucked. You're gone. So I thought it was a really good starting point for this episode, because Zaya brought it up and he does really good work too on Zaya and the Steelers, and it's going all around Twitter. And I was thinking, yeah, you'd have to have some excellent plan for the 100 people to take advantage over the gorilla. Anyways, we'll get to some shout outs and comments, and then we'll get into the draft, because I thought it was a fun weekend. Even though I didn't do the day 3, I didn't do day 3. It was still pretty fun doing day 2. And I think it was on day 1, we had Yul on the show. I think we had Gene on the show. We had Bubba and Shay on the show too. It was good fun. So some comments. But let me know also, guys, let me know. Like, do the humans have a chance? Do the humans, 100 humans, have a chance against the gorilla? I don't think so. I think the humans wouldn't be smart enough to figure out a plan. And by that time, that guy would just run around. They'd send up 10, 15 people, and they wouldn't be strong enough to out-punch and out-wrestle the beast. Right here, we got g'day Jeddah, what's going on? G'day Gene, g'day George, g'day Kevin, says hello Yenses, g'day Joey, what's going on? I think you were at the draft, right? I'm pretty sure from memory, and let me know how it went. I'm pretty sure that Joey was at the draft in Green Bay. So let me know what you did. Did you meet any Steelers fans? Did you meet any Steelers players? Did you meet any NFL players? Let me know what happened, Joey. G'day Afton, what's going on? And yes, I'm waiting for May 12th for the schedule to come out, because obviously we know the teams, but then I can start to organize going to Dublin. I've got in my mind right now, like, that I want to go. I have to go. I'm saving money for it. I just don't know how I'm going to get there, and don't know what to plan just yet, but I'm going to be there. A bit like last year when I went to Christmas. I'm going to be there 110%. So let me know, Joey, how the draft went. G'day, Blue Nose. What's going on? Awesome. Thanks, man. Yeah, I might even go live tomorrow. I don't know. Like, we're trying to ramp up content. Like, now we have players to talk about with Derek Harmon, and it's super sad with his situation. But Derek Harmon being involved now in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, defensive lineman, he's wearing number 99. I don't know if you guys know that, but Derek Harmon, do I have it here? Am I prepared? I'm half prepared. Yeah, Derek Harmon's wearing number 99, which is Brett Kiesel's old number. I think as well, that was Larry Ogun. Did Larry Ogunjobi wear that? I think Ogunjobi wore that too. So Harmon's wearing that. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about where these players fit. I'm excited for the training camp, because now the news really just waits for Aaron Rodgers to sign. That's what we're really looking for. But maybe in the time between now and training camp, we can go through individual players and see how they fit with this D-line. Like, first and foremost, they're joining a D-line with Keanu Benton, which is going to be fun to watch again into his second year, and also with Cameron Haywood, almost near retirement, right? So it's going to be a lot of fun. Who else do we have? Who else do we have in the house? We have 46. We have Afton, like I said. We have g'day Dante, what's going on? G'day Maddie, what's up? Yeah, 100%. We might be getting back together. So, like, we'll be doing podcasts in the future. We'll figure something out. That's for sure. Definitely. Yeah, we'll be doing podcasts in the future for sure. We just got to figure out some things to do with life, and life goes on. G'day Chloe, what's up? G'day Tay. Got a proposal for Pittsburgh on behalf of Green Bay. We'll give you a slight. What does that mean? Don't know what that means. Okay. Oh, you want to give us Malik Willis for TJ Watt? That's not going to happen. I think we're good. G'day. Who else is in the chat? Who else is here? Yuli's in the house. Anyone else in the house? G'day. Pittsburgh Steelers fan. There you go. the number one fan on YouTube. Is anyone? Or you reckon 100 people? Nah, I don't think so. You think 100 people will win that fight? That's the first thing I woke up today when I was on my phone. I woke up in the morning and I saw Zay and the Steelers, and I looked at his intro and he said, "Who would win, 100 people or the gorilla?" I think the gorilla would tear him up. No, 100 people. 100 people. I'm not reading that one. I'm not reading that one. Joey says, I was at draft day and I reached max capacity. I was in third row front. Well, that's cool. From front, paid parking and what? Hang on. Third row from the front, paid for parking and $18 a burger. Wow. That's like $26 Australian. That's a lot. Oh, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, because I missed all day 3. I woke up talking to Bubba and Shane and that on the podcast, and I couldn't believe that the Browns actually took Sanders to be their 5th quarterback, right? They've got, well, let's bring it up now. They've got 5 quarterbacks on the roster. They got the bloke that was Dylan Gabriel. I think he's the first guy they drafted in the 3rd round. So they got, Dylan Gabriel. They still have Deshaun Watson on their roster. They went and drafted Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round because he was falling, right? He wasn't doing much. They got old man Joe Flacco. Now, I wouldn't mind Joe Flacco to be a vet for the Steelers to play maybe 1 year. If Joe Flacco were to play over Aaron Rodgers, I'd be happy with that. But obviously he has ties from being with the Browns. He's going back there, right? The Browns have some quarterback problems because it seems like they have too many different storylines. They got old man Joe Flacco, who's entering his last year, probably of his career, and former Steeler Kenny Pickett, that won a championship or Super Bowl Kenny Pickett with the Eagles. Now, if you're Kenny Pickett, you are absolutely pissed off. You're not worried about how the Steelers threw you under the bus and bring in Russell Wilson in a few years ago. If you're Kenny Pickett and you want to play quarterback at a high level to be QB1, you've now got to go through, if Deshaun Watson ever plays again, because he's meant to be their guy by trading all that damn money, right? Joe Flacco, he's, I think, predicted to be the veteran quarterback to take over. Then you've got to go through the other guy, the Dylan Gabriel, whoever the fuck that is. Don't know who that is, right? But whoever that is, and then he's the rookie quarterback, and then the drama that is Shedeur Sanders from Buffalo. So Kenny Pickett went from our situation by complaining about all this kind of stuff, and now Super Bowl champion, and now with the Browns, he's like probably the 3rd quarterback or maybe 2nd. I don't know. I think it's hilarious how the Browns do things because they just seem to shoot themselves in the foot all the time. They drafted 2 quarterbacks in this draft, and there's going to be drama around Sanders, 110%. Like, I think there's always drama and just crap with the Browns. Like, they're just a bad franchise, 100% they are. All right, anyone else I miss? Got Yuli. Yeah, 100%. Like, that's, and there's so many comments here, I can't even keep up. That's a big thing, and I think that's a huge thing I was talking about the other day, is that Cam lost his father, Ironhead, and he played for the Falcons, right? So he's going to be such great leadership and a good mentor, a good friendship for Harmon. That's why I think Steeler Nation is going to get behind Harmon, because the situation is so unique. However, it's so sad, but it's also so unique in that point where the guy gets drafted by a great franchise, and then hours later his mum passes. You can't make that up. That's really sad. So hopefully the Steelers Nation and Steelers organization gets behind Harmon, 110%. Man, you guys are commenting crazy. This is nuts. G'day, Randy. What's going on? G'day, 46. 300 Spartans. You can't change it. Afton says 100 random people will lose 99 times out of 100 the last time the gorilla gets hit by lightning. I just think the 100 people couldn't organize quick enough to figure it out. And they would run with 10 people, 11 people. I could be wrong, but those gorillas, man, they're pretty strong. They're crazy. Alrighty. Yeah, Matty's after Gabriel as well. Awkward major orcs. Dead set. Thank you, Yui, mate. 10 as well. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. G'day, Darkstorm. And I'm almost down the bottom. When I get down the bottom, I'm gonna start the show 15 minutes in. Hooly dooly. Anyone else? Nope. Oregon QB is Gabriel. That's right. That's crazy too. We found out more confirmation too about this prank on Sanders, which I think is really wrong. I think it's really terrible, to be honest. If you like him or dislike him, to do something like that is going out of your way to be a hateful person. And I think that's wrong. I think that's what's wrong with people these days is just leave the bloke alone. Leave him alone. You don't have to do it. If you don't do anything nice, don't do anything bad. The fact that this kid was the Jeff Ulrich's kid he was a defensive coordinator or something. His kid found the number and filmed himself, by the way. Fucking idiot. He filmed himself calling up Sanders, pretending to be a Saints GM. That's going out of to me personally, that's going out of your way to be a bad person. Don't do that. Just leave it. Just leave it, right? You don't need to do that. I think that's dumb. Oh, Falcons OC. Yeah, I think that's stupid. I think that's just something that out of all the stress that these young people face in the draft, and yeah, they got money and stuff like that, but you don't need that kind of harassment or troll. It's just dumb. Just leave it, right? Anyways, 100%. G'day, Slam and Sammy Joe. What's up? Just discovered your channel. Not a Steelers fan, but a Jack Sawyer. Yeah, 100%. I was watching some highlights today of the game. We're going to talk about him in just a second. So thank you, mate. I'm almost down the bottom, then we're going to stat two other late QBs. There you go. All right, so let's get into it. It's just not cool. You just don't do that. You can have jokes with people and do jokes and stuff, but that stuff just seems like to go out of your way to be a troll. And the poor bloke Sanders already has the national media spotlight on him. Why do you need to make it worse and make him look like a fool? I don't know what Matty says if you're still in the chat, Matty, but in Australia, it's called putting someone on show, right? It's called putting someone on show. You make them look like a fool to make you look better. You should never do that. That to me is not good mateship. It's not good being a human. You don't put someone on show to look like a fool so you look better and you get the praise out of it. I think it's fucking dumb. 100 kangaroos would lure a gorilla to the river and drown him. Alrighty, so let's do a quick recap of the Steelers draft picks, right? And we all know, I think because I missed it when I was waking up. I missed that the fact that the Steelers traded back, I think, one pick to get like seven picks. So overall, we got here. Of course, you saw Derek Harmon, D tackle, offensive lineman. Caleb Johnson, Johnson, running back, Iowa. So I've heard good things about him. I've been trying to watch some tape over the last few days on him, or highlights and that. Jack Sawyer, my mate Ryan, reached out to me. He's a Ohio State Buckeyes fan. He said that he's a good bloke. They call him Captain Jack Sawyer. He's a leader of the team. They won a championship last year. He wears number 33. He's the edge rusher. Maybe he fits into slotting behind, learning from TJ Watt as well. Not only does Derek Harmon get to learn from Cameron Haywood, that Jack Sawyer can learn from TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. So they're building the defensive line, also building the outside linebackers again, right? There's nothing wrong with that. So that to me, I was talking to him too. And Ryan was saying, I said, was that a steal pick? Was that a good pick? Like, did the Steelers get it overall a good pick in that sense? And he says they did. For being round 4 to where he fell, they were saying he could have went like round 3 or round 2 or something like that. The guy can hit. He's very physical, so that's cool to see. And now this guy here, I've heard his pronunciation a bit different, but I think it's YR. Is it YR? YR Black? I think it could be something different. YR Black, defensive tackle. He's like 6'6", like 150 kilos or 140 kilos, like 300-something pounds. Will Howard was a bloke that fell down to 6, and he was, I think, projected to go rounds 4 or 5 to be a QB. And they kept calling this class this draft class and QBs and stuff like that, not a quarterback class. And you heard the narrative over and over and over that fans were waiting for next year. Look, I'm happy for next year. I'll be there. Me and Maddie and Bubba and Shano will be there doing draft content everywhere. We'll be all over Pittsburgh. We'll be there somehow, some way. But I'm also happy that Steelers address the QB situation. They went and got someone. And now, to me, there's no real pressure. There's not much. There's a little bit of pressure, but not much pressure on Will Howard to start. You know what? Maybe it's a good thing that Rodgers comes in to take all the pressure off Mason Rudolph and off Will Howard. Maybe it's a good thing to see put him in first. He's a veteran guy, and that way he carves them up. He goes good or bad, and next minute in rounds week 5, 6, and 7, that's when Mason Rudolph comes in or Will Howard, and they've actually learnt the game before jumping in too crazy. Because to me, there's always that round 1 expectation. Kenny Pickett had a lot of pressure on him. Small hands Kenny Pickett had a lot of pressure. So maybe taking Will Howard there is something where the Steelers can develop the quarterback and his skill set with Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin, and Omar Khan and Andy White are killing this draft. They're killing the last 3 years. So that to me is a good pick at the right time to have a quarterback right there. There's no amounts of pressure, I think, from the fan base and maybe even the NFL team itself. So I kind of like that part there. Carson Bruner, he was the son. Now I saw this yesterday too. He was the son of the Steelers tight end Mark Bruner, right? Now I needed to refresh my memory because I've been a Steelers fan since 2002. Some will fucking say that I've been like a Steelers fan since 2015 or 16, but I've been a Steelers fan since 2002. And just sometimes because you don't know the history, you don't remember the players, doesn't mean that you're not a massive fan. Now Bruner, tight end, he was picked up in the Steelers' first round. There you go. First round, 27th overall tight end, 1995. So I was 6 years of age when he got drafted. Bruner, right. Mark Bruner. I thought he played as well for another team. It says he played for the Texans. So he had a massive career. He had 14 years career. He had 1,300 yards. And he had, how many TDs? He had 120 TDs? No, that's games. That's too many. 20 TDs. So that's kind of cool. And also, he's a scout too. I think he's a scout for the Steelers. So his son was drafted by the Steelers. And in the press conference, you saw Danny Smith and you saw the other bloke too, one of the outside linebackers coach or the linebackers coach. Can't remember who it was. Was it Martin? I think it was Martin. Anyways, they're all talking about him. So the Steelers in the last 2 picks with Carson Bruner and this Kent dude who's like a punt returner, maybe that's more special teams, right? The first 6 players can have a chance to play. You might see Will Howard play in this schedule this year. Maybe if something happens to Rodgers or Rudolph or whoever it may be, right? So, but you'll definitely see Harmon play, Caleb Johnson, Jack Sawyer could be rotating the fourth linebacker, Arya Black, defensive tackle, who will also be rotating on the D line. But yeah, Bruner could be that special teams dude that hopefully gets a hat. Hopefully he can make the team, right? Because you always need those hard-hitting guys. We had Matakevich there, Killebrew, all those blokes there. And the other guy here, Dante Kent, he's the one guy I have looked at no highlights at all. But I did see that he had like a punt return. He's a punt return special, something like that. So out of all these, I know you guys are chatting really fast, man. I got to catch up with all these chats. Out of all these, let's first. What do you think the Steelers? What grade would you give them? You know, for me, I don't know if I'm going to give a grade, but like I think it's a pretty solid draft. The fact that you addressed defensive linemen twice. Sorry, my hands over here. Two times. You got a running back that could be the RB1, and then behind him is Gainwell, which he had success in Philadelphia, and Warren, who's absolutely freaking crazy, right? You got 3 running backs now, depending if they keep Cordero Patterson. Jack Sawyer could be the bloke that rotates behind TJ Watt or behind Highsmith and working with Herbig, some studs. The other dude, the defensive tackle, Arya Black, is 6'6". He might rotate, and also a quarterback for the future. And that could mean quarterback for week 10. That could mean quarterback for 2026. Like this kind of stuff to me is not the draft. It doesn't feel rushed, if that makes sense. When you look at it as a whole, it doesn't feel rushed. You didn't have to sneak up and take Sanders at trade up to 11, or when Sanders fell to 21, you didn't take him there. You got the Derek Harmon. A lot of people saying, "Why do you take Sanders?" It's like, you need to fix the D-line. You need to get better at that position. You need to get in-house guys. And like Mike Tomlin called it, Steelers DNA. That was their theme this year. The Steelers theme was Steelers DNA. And I might talk about that tomorrow on my show, Steel Curtain Network, Steelers DNA. So they had guys like that, and they didn't have to waste their picks or pick out something unordinary, which is like going and getting Sanders in that spot. You got your quarterback. You've now got Mason Rudolph. You got the other guy, Skylar Thompson, right? That's 3 quarterbacks. You did need probably one more. They're going to have one more, and that could be Rodgers. Like, to me, this is like a patient draft. It was like nice and easy. Maybe not as exciting as last year when they traded up. But or was it the year before they traded up? No, was it 5 ton? Anyways, 2 other years, whatever they did, they trade up, right? And it wasn't as crazy as the previous ones. It was more stock standard. Get your D-line fixed. Go and get a running back. Get a quarterback for the future. That's what I think anyway. I think it was nice and easy. Nice and easy. All right. Randy Wagner says A+ effort, solid draft picks were more the value. What discipline we had to wait on these fine plays to fall first. Unbelievable. Thank you, Randy Wagner. G'day, Jason Flood says if we would have gotten Sanders, there would have been talk of his dad taking Tomlin's place. Yeah, I would say that. Not sure that's the Steelers would need that drama. Yeah, of course. As if that were to happen, and Mike Tomlin's always on the fans chopping block. If you're 50, which I am, I'm a positive fan of Mike Tomlin. I think he does really good work. But if you were not a big fan of Mike Tomlin, you'd be saying, well, Sanders is going well. Why can't they get Dillon to replace Tomlin? That could be a big possibility. You never know. It could be. To continue that, Slam and Sammy said Dillon is older than Tomlin. How could Dillon coach 20 years? Well, he could probably... he's older than Tomlin. I see. Yeah, I don't know. You never know. Like, I guess he's coaching now for college. Radio. Blue Nose says here, wanted another big DT and got Black too. Yeah, he's 6'6". He's like, in my language, he's 150 pounds. 150 kilos. He's a big bloke. He says here, A+ got Harmon, who I wanted. Got a running back in round 3. Never thought Johnson would be there, and I was hoping Howard in the 4th. Got him in the 6th. Right? And that's what I was saying too. Got 2 defensive tackles. Got a quarterback for the future. Not much pressure. There's not much pressure from a fan sense. And like I said this morning, and I'm going to try and not watch. I don't watch tape. I watch highlights. I give my opinion on that. But I'm going to try and watch highlights. I was watching before I started the episode. I was listening to Jeremy Betts and the other bloke there. I can't remember his name. But they're doing the fan show, Steelers Q&A. And I was watching the Ohio State game. It's pretty cool. I was watching Jack Sawyer. You're more invested. The minute the Steelers draft a player, you were way more invested. You're like, let's effing go, and here's why, and here's how they fit. There could still be a possibility in a world that Mason Rudolph starts week 1. But right now, it does feel like there's that void there waiting for QB Rodgers to sign. But we have so much more to talk about in terms of where do these players fit and what's going to happen. They're building the roster in the last 3 years, getting Darnell, getting all these other blokes, building the O-line with Jones and Fartown, and he's coming back. What's going to happen with Roman Wilson? That's going to be very exciting. Like, it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun to see what happens. Now, before I go to a quick Raygun reset, after this bit, I'm going to share a video link in the chat, and it's going to be Maddie's channel from Steelers TDU talking about the Steelers undrafted players. I won't play it just here. If you want to go see it, copy the link or put it into a new tab, and then you're going to watch that video whenever you can. There's a really good description of talking about these players. I can bring them up, but I don't know if I'm a bar or soap just yet. So let's do a Raygun reset. Raygun reset, and we'll come right back.
I'm speaking. Can you hear me? Can you ask me a question? Yes.
Alrighty, we're back. So, if you guys want to check this out, this is Matty Peverill here on Steelers TDU. He just put out about like fucking 500 videos. Like he was away. He was away for a little bit, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go hard in the paint. I'm gonna release 10 videos. So here it is. Go and check this link. It talks about all the undrafted guys, but I'm gonna bring them up as well. So I've got a picture here. And there's some interesting things in here too. There's some things that I think, not trying to stress someone's job in terms of position, but they need these guys in camp every year. Like, you go to a Facebook comment. If you ever feel like you want to feel 10 times smarter than the average Steeler fan, go to the Facebook comments, and when they draft or sign a linebacker, or an offensive lineman that's on the depth chart for 6 people or 5 people, or they sign a kicker like they did, go to the draft, go to the Facebook and think, and they'll be like, oh, we need to get quarterback. There's fucking 90 men on the roster. There's 90 men on the roster. This Steelers team has to have people in and out the building all the time. There are times where they cut a play and he comes back 3 weeks later. There are times where he's got a hat, the next week he doesn't, and they cut him and he comes back again next year. It's a revolving business of players coming in and out all the time. And you see someone get signed for some position, and the average Steelers fan goes, we need this guy. It's a sign they have to do. It's a business. It's a working business. Anyways, check out that link for Matty. And here are the undrafted guys that were signed. I think it was 7 of them. So this is from Brooke Pryor yesterday. Steelers announced their undrafted free agents. They signed Rock Taylor, receiver, Memphis, right? Which he may not make the team, but at least they got a receiver there. Offensive guard, Aiden Williams, Minnesota. Fullback, which will be interesting, right? Because remember a few years ago we were talking about Green being a fullback, and a few years ago we talked about the other guy being a fullback. It's always an interesting point when I guess you see the fullback do really well in camp or preseason, and we try and figure out, can they make the team? Will the Steelers use a fullback in that traditional sense, right? But it's good to have on your roster regardless. So the fullback was DJ Thomas Jones, Alabama, right? South Alabama. Another receiver, Keyshawn Williams. Now, I don't know who these blokes are. I have no fucking idea. This is why you guys got to go to Matty's link. Safety, Sebastian Castro, Iowa. Tight end, JJ Gabriel, Galbraith, South Dakota. And the big one for me, which I'll probably see a lot of Steel fans go wild about, and nothing against the guy, but the big one is kicker Ben Sauls. I don't think that Chris Boswell's job is on the line. If anything, Chris Boswell has this contract this year and next year. If anything, the Steelers should sign Chris Boswell to another 4-year contract. Until Chris Boswell goes bad, until his leg falls off, right? They keep signing him over and over and over and over. And you make him, and he will become the number 1 point scorer over Gary Anderson. He has, I think I worked it out the other year. It was like he can get 400 points or 450 or 500 points in 3 or 4 years, and he can overtake Gary Anderson. I think he's on like 1,000 something. So just because they sign a kicker, it doesn't mean that Ben Sauls from Pittsburgh. Now in Matty's video too, Matty talked about that he plays in Pittsburgh, has a pretty high field goal percentage, which means he already plays in Heinz Field. He played there for colleges. So what better guy to bring to the team that plays in that stadium? It just makes sense. But it doesn't mean for me that this kicker is going to replace Chris Boswell, if that makes sense. But you go to Facebook and all these things happen, and they're still like, we need this guy, we need that guy. We're not the GM, we're just the guys observing. So I did find that pretty cool. But check out Matty Prevel's video on that as well. It's doing pretty well in the numbers and a lot of comments in there too. So they got another guard in there, 2 receivers, safety. And yeah, the kicker for me was interesting because you've still got Chris Boswell on the roster, but you need that guy for camp because Chris Boswell can't do it all. You're not going to see him play preseason games that much. You'll see him do a few kicks here and there, and they're going to have this guy on the roster until they cut him, right? But that's what always happens. They're building a team of like 90 people, including these draft picks, and then we kind of move on. Alrighty. I'd still 81. That's not too bad. Well, Chris Boswell's 90%, right? 46 says Ravens draft for the kick. Yeah, I think they're done. I think they're done. I think the Justin Tucker situation, what he's been doing, and all the massages that he went for, I think they're moving on. You know what I mean? I think they're done. Yeah, that's a fair call. It can happen quick. So Bos had a bad spell 1 year and recovered, so depth is nice just in case. Yeah, and if you bring the guy in, if something knock on wood, if something happens to Boswell where he's injured or goes bad, then it's like next man up mentality. But I still think with the situation with Chris Boswell, he's now been playing 10 years for the Steelers, and he's been probably one of the best kickers they've ever had. Now, I wasn't alive during Gary Anderson. I know he's got all the points and all that kind of stuff, but Chris Boswell can simply slot them for 50. 50 yards out in last year, he won 2 games. He was on record saying to Matt Canada, we didn't win because of you, right? So I know that people are saying, like, you just got to get some depth, but that to me, that's all it is, right? I don't think he's going to take Chris Boswell's spot. Sammy Joe says Ravens took a kick in the 5th. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's gone. I think he's gone. I think he's just going to slowly phase him out of the building. The Ravens won't talk about it. The NFL is funny with this stuff. They won't talk about it. They'll just push him out slowly. He won't be invited to the events. He won't be invited to NFL's Hall of Fame, stuff like that. So, there you go. Ravens punter was also a place kicker at Penn State. Yeah, I love him too. I hope he keeps going. I hope he keeps going. I think Chris Boswell has a chance to become the number 1 point scorer for the Steelers. And I just think too, like, because I have more connected with Chris Boswell being a fan of the Steelers during my era, I think that would be a record to break. It's a bit like I talked about the record the other day with Ovechkin, and when he got the most goals scored. I think that's a possibility. So these Steel Towns, Gary Anderson was Money on the Green, Concrete, and then Three Rivers. Yeah, that was before my time as well. But yeah, I think this thing will be fun to see. Oh, I tell you what, we had 19 people in here. We had a really good show. If you can make me laugh, then you're winning. I tell you that much. If you can get me laugh in the comment, because there's no like context around it. If you can get me to laugh like that and just have a good time, you're winning. That's all part of it, right? Daredevil has been on a heater recently. The NFL will slowly rub out Tucker, 100%. If you can get me to laugh like that, you're absolutely winning. I tell you that much. I like to be surprised in the chat. I read the chat. I go back and forth. I have a bit of fun. That's funny. Dead set. Yeah, 100%. I just think that he has a chance. I just think there'll be something for the Steelers to, and like I talked about a few weeks ago, TJ Watt has a chance to break 200 sacks. I think living through something like that, yes, Super Bowls are fun and they're awesome. Playoff fixtures are great, but individual records are still awesome to see as well. So we see Chris Boswell have a good 4 or 5 years, getting 100 points a year or something like that, 120. He has a chance to surpass Gary Anderson to be number 1, and that's freaking awesome, dude. So I want to see that happen. I also want to see Steelers TJ Watt, become the NFL's leading sacker. I think he can do that by getting 14.5, right? And that's why I think it's fun too. I did see something really stupid. I saw something on Steel Wire. I shouldn't entertain it, but I should. On Steel Wire, the guy next to me there, round 4, Jack Sawyer, they said, did they draft TJ Watt's replacement? I don't think so. I don't think it's his replacement. Because that would mean that they'd have to trade away TJ Watt and get rid of him. So, yeah, I'm keen to see TJ Watt be a Steeler for life. I really am. I'm keen to see, him continue to be just great. I know he had a down year near the end. I know that some people wanted to trade him away in terms of this, but even going back to it as well, I think we need to bring up more and more that the Steelers didn't have a round 2 pick, but when you bring these draft picks up, you got Derek Harmon, DT, running back. Second round pick would be DK Metcalf. Now, DK Metcalf is older, but he's also a very established receiver and veteran. So really, we've got defense, receiver, like in round 2, running back, outside linebacker to be behind, be depth, more rotational pieces with R.R. Black. Will Howard to be the quarterback maybe this year or maybe next year. Maybe do that. 2 teams, guys. That's a pretty solid draft. Like, I would probably give it like an A+ or maybe an A or maybe something like that. Maybe A. For all the picks they got, because you still got DK Metcalf to be your receiver. Now the big looming question is who's going to be QB1. But at this time, I don't care. I just want to see how it rolls out. It's so funny, man. That's so good. George T says records were meant to be broken 100%. Sawyer is the guy who will eventually take the reins. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. you draft a guy to be depth behind stars and maybe similar to what Herbig is. Maybe, you know, that's why I think the O-line's now very interesting too, because like Zach Frazier into his second year, there's you know, McCormick next to him. Like it's a much better unit, in my opinion, offensive line, and getting Fautanu back. Like he only played a few snaps or a few games or whatever he played before he injured. So they're building through the O-line that way. And now they're building the guy to eventually take over the reins, not just replace. And that's why you go and get D Lyman straight away with Harmon. Good question. I am 110% on. I'm more than happy if Rodgers does not sign and they play Mason Rudolph from the beginning, but I understand now how the Steelers do things. They normally go to training camp with 4 quarterbacks. And right now they have Skylar Thompson, who's on the practice squad, but he'll be a part of it. I guess there really isn't a practice squad. He's like QB3. They have QB4. They have Will Howard, who'll be QB3. They have Mason Rudolph, who's QB2. They're missing that. They're missing that QB1, right? That's who they're missing. Now it is Mike Tomlin had a conversation with someone on the NFL draft the other day, and they were saying that he had good vibes and good conversations with Aaron Rodgers. Everything has been leading up towards the Steelers signing A-Rod. It just has been going on so long. My stance has changed so much over that period, over the last 2 months. 2 months ago, I was a hard no. I don't want it to happen. Can't handle it. A few weeks later, I said the Steelers, I'm okay with it. I will accept it if Aaron Rodgers is my quarterback. Then after the Pat McAfee show, it didn't happen. I was a hard no again. I'm back to the reality, though, is it's pretty much going to happen, I think. And if it does happen, so be it. Let's go win a championship, or you can't stop it. But it's more than likely now, I think, that the Steelers and Rodgers connection is going to happen in probably the next few days. It has to happen soon, you know, because I'm just sick of talking about it. But I would prefer, I'm okay with it now, but I would prefer the Steelers to go with Rudolph. Just go with Rudolph, make him the quarterback. Maybe you go and get another free agent quarterback to be your vet guy, whoever. Mason Rudolph, 27. I also want to bring this up too. It's going to be interesting to see how Mason Rudolph, he works with Will Howard, right? He's been in the league 6 years. He's considered a vet. He was with the Steelers for 4 years now. I think 4 years or 5 years, 4 or 5 years with the Steelers. Then he went to Tennessee for 1 year, maybe it's 6 years. And now he's back to the Steelers for 6. So will he be that kind of like mentor or, you know, working in the QB room with Will Howard? Will Howard's 23. I think Mason Rudolph is 29 or 28, right? So a 5-year gap. So will he start to learn, learn from Mason Rudolph, right? Yeah, it's a good comment, but I think, I'm not sure we want Will Howard learning from him, but if we want him to or don't want him to, it's going to happen, right? There's going to be some, I guess, influence in the QB room, right? But I understand people don't want Mason Rudolph to be the quarterback. There's 50-50. There's almost right now 50-50 on everything. Some people are pro Coach Tomlin. Some people are negative Coach Tomlin. Some people are pro Mason Rudolph and they're negative Mason Rudolph. Or they're pro Aaron Rodgers and they're negative. But that's why the fan base is so massive. So massive, right? Blue Nose says here, I think the Rodgers were not going to sign before the draft and then have Sanders get drafted early and listen to fans and media mid-season. They waited for Howard in the 6th. Rodgers will show. Learn from right. Okay, gotcha. But you think that Rodgers will show? It looks like that now. Like I think out of all the scenarios, the Steelers have their draft. They got all the pieces. They got the quarterback who's the day 3 guy, round 6, no pressure. It does look like if Rodgers wants to play 1 year for a $15 million contract or a $10 million contract, what he talked about, it's the writing on the wall. They're just waiting for it to happen. We are waiting now for the schedule, for that to be released so I can figure out how to go to Dublin. And we're also waiting for Aaron Rodgers to make his choice. By this point, I think if it does happen, you know, so be it. Let's just go forward. I'm excited to see this running back play from Iowa. I think he's cool, right? He's already wearing the Steelers colors. It's all good. Yeah, it's all good. If you're new to the channel, I'm very, very interactive with the chat. If you put the comments out, we'll read them. It's back and forth. I'm not a journalist. I'm just a bloke on my room talking Steelers from Australia. Says, thanks for answering my question. In my opinion, floor is 10 wins of Mason. He'll unlock the offense like 2003, and Caleb Johnson will be able to flourish and get A-Rod 1 point. Yeah, A-Rod is 1.2 seconds, 5-yard throw is not what I want. I would just prefer, I think, Mason Rudolph to have a chance. I don't believe he's had that chance with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, they put him on the QB depth chart behind Kenny Pickett that 1 year. He sat there on the bench. I think he's been learning. I think I was talking about this other day. Like, to me, he looks keen. He looks different. He's like the evil Mason Rudolph with the goatee. Like, he's like the evil twin Mason Rudolph who wants redemption. I think if Mason Rudolph actually had a full chance to be, like, let's say that Mason Rudolph went into Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan and these guys, Art Rooney, had the clear intention that he was going to be quarterback number one. The whole NFL knew, and you know what? I don't care about the sidetrack or the NFL fans saying he's a bum, he's terrible, he's trash. But if he had the clear intention to be QB number one, that to me would be exciting to see what would happen week one. And let's say week one, he goes out there and throws for 280 yards or 3 TDs or 2 TDs. He runs the rock a bit. He gets about 15, 20 yards. He has full control of the offense. He's been working with Tennessee. He worked with the Steelers. He worked with us before. He's learned and grown with the Steelers. This is not his rookie year. It's not. The team is different. He's different. He's a better player, right? I saw him play spurts with Tennessee. Yes, there were times he had through interceptions. Yes, there were times that the offensive line broke down. He was getting sacked. But that's also about being part of a quarterback too. But now Mason Rudolph, if he were to get the keys to car one, QB car one, and say, here you go, Mason, here's your offense. You've got DK Metcalf, George Pickens, Calvin Austin. You've got the new running back from Iowa. You've got Jalen Warren, who's an absolute stud. You got the check down guy for Gainwell. You got so many weapons and a new offensive line that's better than last year. Here we go. But I also see the other argument that the Steelers fans wanting to bring in a key veteran that is Aaron Rodgers, but he needs to be healthy and mobile. My biggest thing about Aaron Rodgers is that he's not that mobile. He stands in the pocket and he gets like hot flashes and he's, oh, where am I? And then next minute he's getting sacked. I don't want to fucking do a Trubisky 2.0 where Trubisky was the most statue QB I've seen in my lifetime. Like, you wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning, you see Trubisky sitting there and he's still holding on to the football, waiting, then throws and gets tackled. I would prefer them to go with maybe this guy, Rudolph, who saved Christmas, and get the fan base back on track, build through the defense again, go hard in the paint, and just see what happens. Then bringing in the old man, Aaron Rodgers, who's 41, right? I think his time's up, and this whole drama's been going on too long. But the scenario pretty much now is laid out that Rodgers' team, he can just walk into it and be QB1. Because Mike Tomlin and those guys would make Rodgers QB1 in a heartbeat. Also, on this topic, right, with Rodgers, he won't start 17 games. There's no way that Rodgers, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, starts 17 games. There is going to be some kind of injury along the way, 110%. Something's going to break down, sore shoulder, sore arm. He's going to get cracked and maybe hurt his hip or something like that, or his leg. And then Rudolph and then Will Howard will be back up. The quarterback position, in my opinion, Rodgers will not make 17 games. But you still need that. You still need the other quarterback there. Anyways, hope that answered the question. Hurley. Here we go. Thank you, Randy. Gary has 1340. There you go. 1343 points. Chris Boswell 1127. So he's like what? A few away. But Boswell is 88% field goal versus 78. I tell you what is funny too. Chris Boswell is 88%, and Justin Tucker, before he's like, he's really bad. His bad massage thing. He should be. Actually, you know what? Justin Tucker should be getting more flack. They gave so much shit to D Watson that you don't hear as much flack towards Jay Tucker, right? Now, Boswell is 88%. Justin Tucker's not 89%. They always talked about in the NFL that Tucker was the best kicker, and they always forgot about Chris Boswell. Chris Boswell is a really good kicker. So if he can get more points in the next 2 years, then he can surpass Gary Anderson to be number one Steelers kicker in history. Yeah, 100%. He does too. Yep. 46 says, Goaty wins. And I just hope the Steelers give him a chance. But if they sign, okay, here we all know it. If they sign Rodgers, he's QB2. If the Pittsburgh Steelers sign Rodgers, it's going to be Rodgers QB1, Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, Skylar Thompson. Right? If the Steelers go and sign another vet, I don't know. I don't even know who's leaving left. I'm not even sure what QB free agents. Like, I think their trades are all done, but who is left? 2000. Let me see. I'm not even sure who's left, but I think they're not going to trade for a player. There won't be many left, to tell you that much. Available. So A-Rod's left, Carson Wentz, Terry Bridgewater, CJ Beathard, Tyler Huntley. He's 27. That could be interesting. I'm not saying he'd be the starter. That could be interesting. Brett Rippon, quarterback. Jeff Driscoll, 32. Desmond Ridder, 25. And Jake Fromm. Those are legit the only guys left. Out of all the, Carson Wentz. Out of all these guys, Aaron Rodgers, Carson Wentz, Terry Bridgewater, he's 32. That could also be interesting as well, I think. Maybe they might. I would prefer a Bridgewater or a Huntley than over Aaron Rodgers. Just based purely on age. Even Carson Wentz. I would prefer Carson Wentz. And that sounds crazy and stupid, but Carson Wentz, quarterback, 33 years of age. I would prefer him to sign a deal for a 1-year deal to be a backup. Make Mason Rudolph QB1, Carson Wentz, Will Howard. Mason Rudolph, Teddy Bridgewater, Will Howard. Mason Rudolph, Tyler Huntley, Will Howard. You know what I'm saying? Like someone like that. Even Desmond, I don't care. Desmond Ridder. Any one of these QBs over Aaron Rodgers. That's crazy. Three guys in the 14 picks. I think it was kind of cool, yeah, that even the Steelers got three Steelers who wear the same uniform. But yeah, dead set. Yeah, it's true as well. Logan Lee, he got injured last year too. I'm excited. This, and maybe Maddie in the short future we can talk about, if we do a podcast together. Maybe we can talk about the last 3 drafts and how Omar Khan's setting things up, because it's really exciting. It's really fun. It's really fun to see what the different perspective of Omar Khan is doing compared to Kevin Colbert, right? So maybe we can try and tee that up shortly, right? I heard people praising Rodgers for getting the ball out in 5 seconds. Aren't what DK and Pickens want. They're not 40. Yeah, exactly right. And Rudolph can throw it, man. Rudolph can throw the ball down the field. We've seen that. 100%. Yeah, dead set. 46 says, hated Trubisky. Oh, geez, he's awful. He's one of the reasons that was one of the reasons I missed the game. It was week 4. I slept in and I didn't want to watch Trubisky versus the Jets. I think in 2023 or something like that, 23 or 22, was Trubisky versus Jets, and Kenny Pickett made his debut, and I missed it. I missed Kenny Pickett's debut because I knew that Trubisky was starting, and I went out to the pub the night before. I watched the grand final. I watched the NRL grand final, and I didn't get home to 1:30, and I was like, I can't get up and do a 3-hour stream, 3 a.m. stream, and then I missed. Trubisky was playing, and it makes me want to throw up. He was actually one of the worst, and I don't want to see that. I don't want old man Rodgers to walk out there and get stuck behind the line and just be an awful case of we suck because our QB cannot move in the pocket. At least give Mason Rudolph a chance, you know? Alrighty. Yeah, Tannehill as well. I think, is he a free agent? I don't think that's going to happen. Kaepernick has been out of the league for 8 years now. I think he's. I always see the articles and stuff like that talking about Kaepernick coming back and a return and all this kind of stuff. I just don't think it's going to happen. But that's fantastic. Oh, he's money. He's money. I couldn't I? I was going this. I'm going to shave this. I was actually going to shave the beard tomorrow. Mark, you need to trim your beard into a Mason Rudolph goatee. You look good sporting a Mason goatee. Yeah, I was going to shave the beard tomorrow, actually. I need to get a haircut too. I got a wedding coming up in like 10 days. I'm going to a mate's wedding, so I need to look sharp. Yeah, need to look very sharp. You miss Claypool's volleyball. What is it? You miss Claypool's volleyball. Kenny's first throw into an interception. No, I saw it after. I saw that after. That was, dude. How did he get beat, dude? Claypool was the worst. Claypool, and you know what I like too? The Steelers going back to Steelers DNA. More physicality. Claypool was one of the worst receivers we ever picked up. And he got beat out by like a 5'9" cornerback, and he just the moment that Claypool did this in the Vikings game, I was fucking done. I was done. Not today. But I know where that comes from. That comes from a few shows ago where someone was complaining about my hair. My hair was all over the shop. Oh, hooey dooly. Anyways, that's been an hour. I can't believe that. So tomorrow, guys, I don't know if I'll do it live, but I'll be doing another podcast talking pretty much the same stuff. I think he might be out of the NFL. Yeah, I think he's done. Yeah, so I'm doing a show for SEN tomorrow, and I'll go through some of the draft picks and stuff like that, and I'm going to talk about Steelers DNA because Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan kept talking about that. If there was one theme of the show, it was the Steelers DNA. And when you go to these picks, right, and these guys here, Derek Harmon, as you guys saw with the unfortunate passing of his mother, super humble, super nice. Like, you don't know him from a bar of soap, but now everyone's rooting for him. The fact that he even took the phone call and 2 days later, he's at the Pittsburgh Steelers center facility. I did see people say that when 2 days later after his mother's passing, I saw fans on the internet say that why did Pittsburgh make him go to the Steelers complex? I don't think the Steelers made him do anything. If anything, they probably offered him to come to the center when he's ready, and he probably went because he was ready. People deal with grieving all different types, but I guarantee you, this is the player that Steeler Nation at training camps is going to get around and say thank you and give a good fist bump. And I think sometimes, I always stress this too, we always get into the GM mode, the Madden mode, but we forget about like families that like want to see these players do well. I heard Dave Schofield from SEN talk about this. If people weren't happy and cheering and ready to be behind the team now that was setting up the draft picks, it's about fucking time you jump on the train. It really is. It's about time you jump on the train and let's effing go. Put on your black and gold as best you can. Wave your terrible towels because it's going to be a very fun season. We've got the quarterback possibly for the future. We've got the D-line getting better back together. We now have a chance to watch TJ Watt and Cameron Hayward go again. We got Minka in the backfield again. We got Deshaun Elliott in the backfield. They got in the year 2. The other bloke there, Peyton Wilson, he could be wearing the green dot. Cole Holcomb could be coming back from his injury. You even got our punter, the Australian punter. The Australian punter could be going into camp versing with the other bloke, Corliss Waitman, right? A lot of fun things happening for the Steelers team, not just about, we need to win a playoff game. No, there's a lot of fun things that we should be getting behind in terms of Omar Khan and Andy White have been building this team up. Matty Peverill's been talking about it for the last 2 years. He says, not trendy, trenchy. Build in the trenches. They've been doing that offensive line and D-line. It's a lot of fun right now. It's a lot of fun to be a Steelers fan. And then we've got a running back too who I've seen in the comments that reminds people of Le'Veon Bell, right? These are the kind of people we need to get around. So I hope the Steelers fans can get around Derek Harmon because I definitely will be cheering him on. I'm now like this. You know what? 2 months ago, I was not. 2 months ago, I was not motivated. I had zero motivation to do any videos. I had zero motivation to really jump on lives. It's always a lot of fun. I had no real like extra effort to be like, I want to talk this because we were surrounded so much by the Aaron Rodgers stuff. Now the fact the Steelers have signed players, getting DK Metcalf and these guys, and they've done the draft and done their actual, there's Steeler content and plays to get behind and jerseys to buy and stuff to do and things to plan. In 2 weeks' time, I'm going to find the schedule. Now I'm starting to think, now I'm in. And you know what? Maybe next year I have to take actual break. Maybe I need a 2-month break or a month break to jump back. I know Matty had a bit of a break now and he's really amped up to go again. So maybe I need to do that too, is take a step back because it does take a lot of energy. But I'm pumped up, dude. And maybe I'll come back like this. I'll come back with I'll come back with a goatee. And we'll be good to go. Mason Rudolph's ready. I'm ready. This team, I think, is getting, you know what? Maybe they're not Super Bowl caliber or they're not the favorite to win the Super Bowl, but I think they're getting ready to compete. I guarantee you, week one, whoever they're versed, they're gonna be ready to compete on all levels, right? So, yep. All right, guys, we'll get out of here soon, very shortly. If anyone has any more questions in the chat, please let me know in the chat. Any more questions, I'll answer them. It's been awesome. G'day, Kevin. What's going on? Sorry I'm jumping on late. Even more sorry for the tariffs. Keep going. Great work. Yeah, I haven't looked into too much, really. I'm trying to just to save my pennies. Everyone's going for a tough time with pennies and money and stuff like that. So trying to save my pennies as best I can. Thanks for coming in, Kevin, right near the end. Any more questions, guys, let me know in the chat. But I'll be doing another show tomorrow with Steel Curtain Network, which will be aired sometime on my channel. And then also more content too with Barbara and Shano, man. They're doing good things too. Deal Steel Town says Rogers. Yeah, he'll be the odd man out. That's what I'm saying. I think he'd be the odd man out. He'd be the dude like, I'd rather go with Rudolph. But I'd actually rather have them pick up Tyler Huntley to be a backup quarterback in our system. I don't know. We'll see how it pans out. He definitely went gone. He was gone. Yeah, 100%. I was talking to my mate about it. My mate Ryan's a Ohio State fan. He said, yeah, Captain Jack Sawyer was the best player available at that pick to be the outside linebacker, the edge. So he can definitely. I like seeing these guys too. I wish we had. I know Sean Monahan's a big guy of this. I wish the NFL had more preseason games because you find that week 1 and week 2 is really tough for the team to gel. I actually like watching football. I know the UFL existed this week, but I didn't watch any UFL because I was watching the draft. But I like to watch the football that is the lower leagues or like, the preseason football because you see the guys you never see play. It's a lot of fun. Oh, 100%. Yep. And I will be going through too. I've got to hopefully look into these players and watch some highlights and give you my take one-on-one with them for sure. Yeah, it's like Bizarro World Mason. That's it, right? That's right. Thank you still, Chick46. Yeah, there you go. Randy saw some tape on Black today, which made Dunbar's comments about him being 4 technique. Bennett saying nose makes him more. There you go. Interesting. Good question. Who do you think will the Steelers need to fire this year other than Tomlin? I think they probably get rid of. I think Patterson goes. I think he's cut. Do you mean fires and coaches, or do you mean like fires and players? Because players, I think he's cut. In that sense, if you go to a team, I don't know about coaches though. I don't think they fire anyone, to be honest. I think they showed you last year that it's just not going to happen. Well, the first one they fired someone was Mike Tomlin. They got Smith as the offensive OC. Yeah, I don't think they fire anyone. I think Charleston has his job there until he doesn't. I don't know. But players, I'd probably say Patterson could be cut. There could be a chance as well that, I know it sounds crazy, but tight end Connor Haywood could be cut. You never know. These guys are on the edge with teams. I'm halfway through it, wise guys. I'm halfway through it now watching Will Howard. 100%. Yeah, he seems very cool, calm, collected, very checked in, wants to be a leader. Yeah, I'm halfway through it. I'm trying to, yeah, do you know what, dude? Like I said, I was not that motivated 2 months ago. But now looking at it all, there's so many storylines, so many things to talk about in terms of football and getting behind our team and seeing how we can win. And yeah, he's on, John Gruden is, you know what I found funny? On John Gruden, he kept telling him, write that down, sit down, do this. But like John Gruden's a very animated person. He's actually very, very interesting to watch. And yeah, Will Howard's on there talking about all his, check downs and different route combinations and like different call outs and stuff like that. It's really fun. But he also talks about like, being a leader and stuff like that. So 110%. G'day, Lara. What's going on? I wish we could have gotten Sanders. You know what? That's your call. I disagree. I think Sanders, I'm glad he went to the Browns. I'm glad the Steelers don't have any. Because right now, the Steelers fan base and the media, I don't think they'll talk about Will Howard being QB1, right? They'll probably talk about, will they find QB1 with Rodgers or Mason? I don't think there's any drama. There's like zero drama. You bring in a good bloke by Will Howard who won the championship last year. Like I said, I'm halfway through that too. I was listening to the podcast. I was listening to a podcast that was John Gruden's podcast with Will Howard. At the same time, I was watching the Ohio State football match versus Notre Dame. Like, I'm not a draft guy, so I've got to catch up. But I'm watching Jack Sawyer play on him on the edge and 33 running around crazy. And I'm watching Will Howard, zip the ball down the field. So this is the fun part. Woo! Thank you, Randy. You'll get out of here soon. Thank you, Randy. So we'll love the dedication of the HDU or Hooladoo University. Yeah, man, I love you guys coming in. To have 24, 25 people in the chat on a random Sunday night is fantastic. He does. He really does. I do miss that. Like I just love, to be honest, I know not many people do, but I love stuff like this. I love this.
Coach Stum win. Let's go for the win, man.
Right? This.
What do you expect now from Kenny Pickett, year 2? It's his team, full control from jump. What do you expect here? What do you talk to him about?
I expect him to kill it.
And this.
We do not care.
That's why I love overall just his personality. I think Mike Tomlin's cool. I think he's great. I can't wait to meet him in the Hall of Fame. I will be shaking Mike Tomlin's Hall of Fame speech. I'll be there 110%. I'm going to Ireland. I'm going to Dublin. And I'm going to Pittsburgh next year in 2026. Alrighty. Cord. No. Thank you, Cord, for the $5. Are you coming to Pittsburgh Steelers for the game? No, I won't be coming. No. My plans are the next 2 years. I'll be going to Dublin. I'm going to push somehow, some way, get to Dublin. I need to figure out the schedule. The minute that releases, I'll have to check my bank account and try and order flights to Dublin. And I do want to do some more traveling to around Ireland or go to UK or go somewhere else over Europe. My plan would be to take like 3 weeks off. So save up money as much as I can. Like save money, take 3 weeks off, go and see the game in Ireland. I don't even care if I can't see the game, but I'll be in the city. And then I'll take another 2 weeks off to explore like UK or, Scandinavia or whatever, and then come back. That's my plan, is like three weeks off or 4 weeks off, but save money, go hard in the paint, and then obviously get time off work, which I hopefully should do. And I'm working hard at that. But yeah, no game this year, but next year in 2026, I'll be there for the Pittsburgh Steelers draft. Me and Matty, Bubba and Shane will be figuring something out. I'll be there for like 7 days. Those are my those are my thoughts for sure. Alrighty, thank you, Cordo, for the $5 because that goes that same with Yui too. Thank you, Yui, for the 50, 60 memberships. That goes towards my fund and my help towards going to Dublin and going to Pittsburgh. And even just doing comments too, guys. I really appreciate it. All right. I've got the other one. I've got a shirt called The Standard is the Standard. 100%, dude. I'm there in a heartbeat. I'm gonna do it. What airline do you fly in and out of Pittsburgh? I was flying American Airlines. So there's a link from Pittsburgh to Dallas. It was American Airlines, and then Dallas to Sydney was Qantas. I think that's on my Australian one. But this is that same route were the people that forgot my luggage. But I was pretty cool. I wasn't too stressed. I would only material things. I don't care too much about material stuff. The only thing I would have been pissed about, but I had my terrible towel in my backpack. I'd be pissed about that. I would care more that I lose my terrible towel than I would lose a $3,000 laptop. The laptop wouldn't care me. It would be my terrible towel that I've had for 20 years or something like that, or 17 years or whatever. When's the last time Steelers won Super Bowl? 2008. So I got the towel in 2009. So what's that? 16 years. I've had it 16 years. So, and I've been everywhere with it. But yeah, I'll be definitely making plans to Pittsburgh for sure. Alrighty. 100%. We're going to do it. We're going to organize an event. Day 1, day 2, or day 3, all 3 days or whatever it is. We're going to organize an event on the outside of Pittsburgh, 15 miles out, random bar, and everyone's going to turn up and we're going to have a good go. But we're going to be there for sure. Pittsburgh Steelers, or the Pittsburgh city is on the clock. Guys, that was a great 100%. Yeah, it means so much to me. It means an incredible amount. Like, I would much rather lose any material possessions besides that, because I've pretty much taken the towel everywhere. Yeah, if you live in Pittsburgh, you go Pittsburgh to Dallas, then Dallas to Sydney. It's about a 17-hour flight. It sucks, but you got to do it. So I went from Sydney to Brisbane, Brisbane to Dallas, Dallas to Pittsburgh. And then when I got to Pittsburgh, I lost my luggage, and I was very lucky to have Shano out there waiting in the car. And I walked out and I was like, bro, I lost my luggage. Like Shane waited like 1 hour. He waited like 1 hour, dude. 1 hour outside to wait till I filled all the forms out. And then 3 days later, my luggage showed up. So it was all good. I was all positive about it. It was all fun. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go. Thanks, everyone. You guys are awesome. And yeah, some good things coming, man. Some good things for the Steelers. We have, I think, a good team building now. We're just waiting for QB. But D linemen, they're looking good. Linebackers looking good. Running back looking good. Receivers looking much better than last year. Mason Rudolph could be the guy, right? So, yeah, go the Brizzy Broncos. All right, I'll see you all later. Thank you so much for being part of the show. There was like 25 something people on a random on a Sunday night. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys later.
I'll see you guys later. Left the light on. See you later. Bye.